Welcome back to Oblivious Maximus. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Searle. I'm doing the intro for the podcast this week in my kitchen because when we sat down with Tommy Dassalo, the chat just started ripping and we didn't really stop to do the intro. So it was a good chat with Tommy Dassalo. If you don't know him, he's a great stand-up comedian. He has two great podcasts, How to Do Everything and Filthy Casuals, a gaming podcast. So check those out. We had a great yarn with Tommy about all sorts of stuff. Immediately, we start talking about how sometimes the audio quality of podcasts can be bad. And wouldn't you know it, the episode is starting to peak in the start, but that goes away after a while. Anyway, that's sort of it for me. I'm just going to get some plugs in while I gotcha. June 29th at Near and Far Bar, 6:30. I'm doing a new material show with my friend Bronwyn Cuss. Come along to that. Tickets are just $10. And in Brisbane, I'll be there on July 24th. Tickets will be on sale shortly. That's a good chat comedy. We'll see you soon. Enjoy this episode with Tommy Dassalo. Bye.
You feel like it doesn't matter. You just buy like whatever cheap pair of headphones and then you get like your first good one or you try your first good pair and you hear that like sound stage that they talk about where you're like, well, I'll be goddamned. It sounds like the guitar is in a different place to where the drums are. This is it's not all just one like mush going into my ears.
Yeah, caught myself like listening to a remaster. I'm like, I really can hear it on the remaster.
We had, with the video games podcast, we had a guy message us once and be like, again, it's all every time you get audio advice, there's always some caveat in there that just immediately negates it. Like this guy was like, you've got to start mixing these episodes better. Like the audio quality is so bad. Like the other day, I was listening to you while I was riding my motorbike and I could barely hear the episode. We're like, what are you talking about? Why would you put that detail in?
Focus on keeping your organs inside of you.
Do you think maybe like once you pulled over and the motorbike had stopped, could you then maybe hear the episode a little bit better? Did you notice that there was like this weird coincidence where every time the engine wasn't revving, like you could actually kind of hear the show? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
A lot of honking in that episode.
Hey, pretty bad episode, I got to say. I was asleep for most of it and didn't take any of it in, but your show sucks and you should make it better. Well, thanks for weighing in, man. I really appreciate this.
Yeah. It's insane the comments that you get. Like, we should probably start this episode.
This is the pod.
But yeah, recently a guy like commented on the Spotify, drink every time Solo says Comedy Fest. I'm like, this is a fucking episode after Comedy Fest. You cunt.
it's my life. Sorry for I get that all the time with various things, and it's like I'm just reporting back on the life that I have the same 24 hours in the day as everyone else.
Yeah.
I have a thing that I did that took up a lot of time that I really enjoyed.
You heard a podcast before, cunt?
Man, I just discovered that the other day that every episode has its own page on Spotify that people can comment on.
Yeah.
That ruined my week, honestly, finding
and it also
that.
has
Jesus Christ.
a full auto transcription and chapters.
Yeah. The auto chapter thing is crazy. When we put up the first video one, I thought you had done it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, Serlo's putting a lot of work this week. Chopping it up into chapters.
Yeah, it is wild how crazy that Spotify is like, we're doing this now. Like we're doing all this extra shit.
Yeah.
They're really trying to capture. I mean, I fully am just only listening to podcasts on Spotify.
Oh, really?
But so many people aren't.
Yeah, I don't use Spotify at all.
Yeah.
I started listening to Amy Poehler's podcast and it's great, but it's weird because it's one of those ones that Spotify
they
produces.
Run it. Yeah.
And so as a result of that, there's like Joe Rogan doing ad reads before this Amy Poehler podcast. And that just seems like so tonally
there's definitely, I've been listening to that too, and there's definitely an episode where they spend a good portion of time talking shit on that community and culture.
Great.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But then because it's on the same network, you're copping his ads.
It's strange. I mean, good on them for not being like, you're not allowed to talk shit about our boy, our beautiful Joe, our beautiful boy Joe.
Well, they seemingly are not doing as many because they did it for a bunch of Australians, and then it's like they had a bunch of Aussie podcasts on there, and then it's like kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like
on the Spotify thing they were, okay. Man, I saw, let me see if I screenshotted it because I was so fascinated by it. This ad for an AI thing that is like, here we go, Jelly Pod. And it's like this AI thing where you add a source, you clone your voice, you approve the script, and then you just publish it. So it's like AI that just makes a podcast for you. And it's like, how can you work at a company like that and go in and be like, what a great service we're contributing to. You know what I mean? Like the idea of like feeling like you've
people need a podcast so bad they got to have AI do it for them.
It's crazy. Like I kind of was like, I sort of want to do this and then get it and chop it up and like interject. IRL like. Would be fun.
You responding to the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like because my mum is now sending me AI slop reels.
Oh yeah.
It's like she's fully like, I'm like, Mum, this is AI. And she's like, I just thought it was a funny, like that baby can't talk.
Theo Von's like 40. He's not a little baby up on stage doing stand-up. It doesn't make sense.
There's no
it's
baby
pretty,
Tony Soprano.
It's pretty scary. My parents are like not really on, like they can like, they've kind of just learned how to use Uber. So they're not engaging with any social media.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because they still every now and then will get scammed. They'll call me and be like, oh, the bank keep texting us, and I'm like, anything like that, just ignore it. And if it's legit, like they'll get through to you. Like you'll know if it's legit at a certain point.
That was a person we used to work with got got one of those calls that was like, this is the ATO, you're being like investigated for blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh my God. And like gave all her details.
Yeah.
And then she told us at work, she was like, just letting you know, the ATO is like investigating me. And we were like, that's not the ATO. You are not, like the ATO will not cold call you and be like, hey, give us your details. We're investigating you.
Yeah.
They'll just start investigating you.
Yeah.
They've already got your details.
Know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how an investigation works.
I had this this is so embarrassing, but I follow on Twitter this guy Eric Bowser. He does like all the voice of the Looney Tunes. He's like the current guy who does all of them. And he posted something on Twitter saying, hey, I'm working on this new project. If any artists that follow me, like, you know, DM me and send me your stuff because I'm looking for artwork for a thing. And so I was like, all right, cool. Like, so I DM'd him and he was like, yeah, send through some examples. And so I took some screenshots from my special that's got a lot of my artwork in it. And like I made this video game that I did all this design stuff for. So I just sent him all this. I was like, oh, here's a bit of a taste of what I do. Like, you know, let me know if what kind of stuff you're looking for or if you want me to send through more stuff. And he's like, yeah, this is great. I'll send you a description of kind of the thing that we're working on. And he sends me this sort of this like rundown of this like independent animated show that he's making. And so I'm like, cool. So do you want me to like do some drawings to this kind of brief and sort of see what comes of it or whatever? And then a couple of days go past and then he gets on his like on his public feed. So out of the DMs and he's like, hey, just letting everyone know my account's been hacked since February. So if you've been DMing me, it's not actually me.
God.
And I'm like,
holy shit.
But then I'm like, what's the scam here? Like what, you know what I mean? I'm like, I almost got, this is so embarrassing. Like I got done by this like fake, like hacked person.
The scam is praise.
Yeah. What's the end game here? Like I do a bunch of drawings for because he did have this like very like worked out, here's the concept for this show that we're working on. And I was like, this sounds cool.
Maybe it's like a new version of like the love scam. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
where it's just like
Catfishing.
You just get them to a point where it's like they will like, you know, you just keep it going until then the requests don't seem bizarre.
I mean, I've had ones come through that are like, I know immediately that this is faked. I had a guy emailing me pretending to be Walton Goggins for a little while, which was awesome because he was in Thailand while I was in Thailand. They were filming The White Lotus. And I think I commented on something that he posted and then, like a week later I got this email that was like, hey, Tommy, thanks for being a fan of my work. And then I'm like writing back and going, I'm just like, let's just see where this goes. Let's see what happens here. Like, at what point is there going to be a pivot where he's like, yeah, I mean, they haven't paid me yet for White Lotus, and I really need like $10,000. I'm like, what happens?
I
like,
gotta get home.
Yeah, if I just go along with this and pretend to be a real dunce, like I'm fascinated at like at what point do you pivot it?
He's like, I don't know if you know that White Lotus, it's an anthology series, so they're not going to put me in the next season.
And he kept being like, how can I prove to you that it's really me? I'm like, take a photo of yourself with a sign saying, hello, Tommy.
Today's date newspaper.
Yeah, that kind of shit. But then I was like, oh man, this was like right before I was about to put out my special. And so I was like, damn, I should ask him to promote the spec. Because there was like a 1% part of my brain where I'm like, what if this actually is the real? Imagine that.
What if Walton Goggins is emailing me?
And so then he's like, oh, look, I can't take a photo. There's like some crazy backstory to why his fucking camera's not working or whatever. But he's like, but here's a voice memo. And it's the most like obvious like AI voice going, hello, Tommy Dassalo. Like it's all like the words are all run together and it kind of, it sounds like Walton Goggins' voice, but it's so like, and again, I was like, man, imagine being the person that's just like, oh my God, it's him.
I mean, but that's happening to people like every day, right?
Yeah.
Like people are just, there's always something that'll come up like on Facebook or something. It'll be like, this woman gave a person $85,000 because she thought it was film star X. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I mock all that stuff and I'm like, not judgmental of my parents, but I'm very like, Jesus Christ, of course it's not the fucking actual bank. But then here I am, like this Looney Tunes prick had me on the hook. Like I was stoked, man. I was like, this is cool. I'm going to end up working on this like car. I'm going to move to Hollywood to work on this cartoon.
On the other end, it's the fucking Roadrunner.
I'm annoyed that I want to know where where would that have ended? Like, how does that end in me getting scammed?
Yeah.
Like,
I reckon and it feels like a lot of those ones are like, yes, to pay you the money, you've got to pay me this amount of money.
I guess it would have been that. It would have been me sending him some sketches and being like, my brother, this is exactly what we're after. And then, it would have been like, we want to put you on a contract or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think at that point I'd like to think I would have been like, hang on a minute.
This isn't real.
Me getting a job opportunity, this doesn't seem right. Something's off here.
I wonder what point I was like, I think I'm pretty aware. But then I had one a while ago from a bank where it was like from ING and I like called back the number because it was like, we're holding this transaction. And I did think like, oh, I don't really use that account. What is that? And I called back and it was like, ING fraud protection, and it just sounded like a normal guy. And then I just hung up and then called the actual number, and the guy's like, oh yeah, we've been getting this all day.
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay,
fuck.
right.
Like I knew, but I was like, when's the point coming for me where I don't know? Because it's like, I feel like
they've got to get better. Like they have to continually keep getting better, and technology evolves, and one day we'll be 70 or whatever, completely left behind by all of it.
Well, they say that Gen Z is apparently and below is more susceptible to it. Because
Interesting.
I think because we, being like between the ages of like 30 and
We've talked
40,
about this before.
Yeah.
How there's some stat that I've quoted heaps that I don't know where it comes
keeps
from.
increasing every time we talk about the stat.
It's like if you're in this window, which our age group is, you're like way more like tech savvy because you had to deal with.
Well, it's the internet
You had to learn on the
before
fly.
platforms.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think now that people are so locked into platforms like Facebook, Instagram, etc. Like we remember an internet that was like the Wild West.
Yeah, and you had to even stuff like people again at work don't know what Control-Alt-Delete does. They don't know what Task Manager is or how to look up something. They just don't know. And they talk with me at least man, you're so good at IT. And I'm like, I literally go on Google and write how to make computer stop so noisy.
Yeah. No, that's it. You're right though. Because I was talking to someone about this yesterday. The new Nintendo Switch is coming out, and there's a thing with the controllers where you can put it on its side and use it as a mouse.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how there's probably an age bracket that has never used a mouse in their life, doesn't know
Yeah.
what the fuck it does, because they're all touch screens. And like
Yeah.
at schools, if you're getting, access to stuff, it's like maybe when you're younger too, like your parents are buying you an iPad instead of a computer because it's all
Yeah.
like locked in to the one ecosystem. You can't go outside the margins and just like go browsing and get
Yeah,
onto
yeah.
porn websites and stuff like that as easily.
Yeah, I mean, my home computer when I was growing up was fucked. Like,
Yeah.
like got a LimeWire on there or
Oh,
whatever.
me
'Cause
too.
I was thinking that there was, like, I talked a bit about it in my show. Like, Recovery Magazine had an article on how to download MP3s,
Yeah.
and it's like they basically like published an article on the thing that destroyed it.
Yeah. It's illegal, by the way.
Yeah.
Like you're not meant to do that.
And-
I mean, yeah.
And it just is like doing things like it's so customizable. Whereas like an iPhone, it's like it is what it is.
yeah.
It's
But then, like, I had my identity stolen and they used it to get a $10,000 loan. And that was just someone stealing mail out of my letterbox in my apartment building.
Old
So
school.
that's like, that's real kind of, that's like the penny farthing of like, of being scammed. And that was like a
ancient
nice
crime.
That was a nice realization because it's like, okay, I did nothing to inspire. Like I didn't get, you know what I mean? I didn't fall into a trap or anything.
Yeah.
Some just opportunists just happened to take I just made the mistake of getting a particularly bulky piece of mail that was sticking out of the letterbox that was easy enough to steal from the mailroom.
this person also stole a pie from a windowsill.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, it's some real like, twirling their little moustache, stealing my identity, and then tying a woman to the train tracks. Just going real old school with all their
Lot
crimes.
of
beat the
Looney
classics.
Tunes
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah.
Circling
well, I'm
around
in
you.
the mindset. I was working on that show. I was like, in my mind, I was getting ready to go over and be the new Walt Disney in political views only. Obviously, not to the same level of talent.
Just getting
kind of
frozen.
Just kind of what he thought. Yeah, is he frozen? I can never keep track of whether that one's
Yeah.
real or not.
Well, I think the last thing I remember about it is that the last episode of that How To is it maybe the last episode of How To with John Wilson.
Oh yeah,
He goes to the place where people are getting frozen.
That's right,
And like the technology is still obviously doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
Unless
it'd be-
unless the news is breaking today.
I mean, we haven't. It feels like It feels like in this climate, you would hear more. There would be like
Yeah.
a prominent person who's like, you would think you would hear about like Trump saying that he's got plans to do it, or
Yeah.
like who's
Well,
that?
that guy who reckons who's trying to live forever.
Yeah, the
That
guy is like comparing his load to his son.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be the next in line.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been like a prominent like
No, I don't
I'm
think
going to
so.
freeze myself guy for a while.
No, I think it's like people have kind of gone off that idea. They're like, we just, we probably want to end it.
This
at some
is
point.
plenty.
Yeah.
I guess it also speaks to like things are undeniably getting worse. So it's not like
Yeah, I don't
you
wanna
live in a
be
time
around
where there's all
forever.
this optimism where you're like, wow, I can't wait to see what progress has been made in 100 years. It's like, no, I'm going to get unthought and it'll be undeniably worse.
Yeah. Well, I just can't imagine like when, the watching the video of Trump with the South African president or prime minister where he's like, talking about the white genocide and there's literally like, yeah, bring it up on the screen here, like Joe Rogan, like, and they wheel a
wheel the
TV,
TV out.
into her, and then like basically playing a reel for the. It was like bizarre footage.
Like he's on Have You Been Paying Attention, making gags off the back of it. Man, I took a gummy the other night and watched Zoolander for the first time in about 20 years. And one of the first things that happens in that movie is you see Trump. Trump is in it.
Yeah.
It's that real like that era of like device of setting up who this character is where you
Yeah.
see like the red carpet of the fashion awards.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
all these celebs playing themselves and like one of the first lines of dialogue in the film is Trump going, without Derek Zoolander, there would be no male modeling. This happens like as the gummies kicked in, I'm howling. I rewound it about 4 times. I'm like, what a way to kick off a movie. Trump like setting up who this character is. Incredible.
Well, yeah, I also love watching movies from that era and just like how far in before something real crook happens.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Just how long until you hear a slur?
Yeah, he
Or someone pretending to be a different race.
yeah, he kind of does it twice in Zoolander. There's the bit where he's like working in the mine and he's all like covered in,
Yes.
like he kind of blacks himself up so that he can jump out of the shadows and scare his dad. And then there's the thing where they go like deep undercover to sneak in, and it's like they've got like a black guy and an Indian guy playing him and Owen Wilson. And then it cuts back to like them after they've snuck in and he's like wiped the makeup off, but there's still like the edges of it, which is so funny because then Ben Stiller goes on to make Tropic Thunder. So it's just funny to imagine him in that scene being like, this gives me an idea. What if this but whole movie?
That's so sick.
Where's he landed with that now? Is that still like people are just like, it's fine?
He's skated and honestly, you love to see it.
I can't believe he's managed to be like, Severance.
Yeah.
Everyone loves me.
Yeah. I think that's it. You just gotta make a slight pivot and you gotta have some like other project that is just like beloved enough that people are like, I mean, we're really gonna have to throw the baby out with the bathwater on this one. I could kind of live without Meet the Parents, but Severance season 3, I don't know. I really want to watch it and I don't just
when they took away Meet the Fockers, I said nothing.
But then they came for the little fuckers and there was no one left to defend me.
Yeah, I think, and then like Robert Downey Jr. was just Iron Man from then on.
Yeah. It all worked out.
Yeah.
It all worked out for him. But also, I just kind of always felt like the joke in that film is that he's like it's like imagined doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like he's just.
Yeah,
it's not like he's just doing it. It's
yeah.
there's like a comment around the thing that he's actually doing.
Well, I noticed that a lot of those clips are coming up online now. Like you get served back like clips online. You're like, people are really going back in on this.
I mean, yeah, we're all the right age where it was like we remember it being out in the cinemas. But I can imagine being 20 now and seeing a clip from that film and being like, what the fuck is this?
It was a different time.
Yeah.
The mid-2000s. That's the time
Yeah, not really that long ago. What is our generation's equivalent? I guess like Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's, maybe?
Yeah, or
I guess
like...
when we were in our 20s, was like, this is kind of a bit dodgy.
There's like a bunch that I guess you don't really realize, I suppose. Like,
yeah.
I remember there was an episode of that Aziz Ansari show...
Master of None.
Like all about that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then it's, to go even further, I love thinking about like, what's the one now? Like it feels like everything is quite safe now.
Yeah.
Like obviously these things are thought about rightly so much more than they ever have been before. But there's got to be something that's slipping through the net that we're not even aware of. You know what I mean? That in like 20 years time, we'll look back on and be like, how did no one like bat an eyelid at the fact that Serlo had a pluck a duck toy? It'll just be something that like
I think that's currently
we're not even. It'll be something where it's like, yeah, I don't know, we kind of thought it was funny and turned a blind. There must be something that's happening that's dodgy that we're not aware of.
I'm sure like it's happened in this room.
Yeah.
There's that podcast that records in here that's just a bunch of like 20-year-old footy players.
Dude,
Oh, really?
It is.
The clips have come up on my Instagram and it's like, yeah, so I was dating Jessie and then, I did a trip to Bali afterwards. And they're like, oh, that's the fucking room at Chippenhall.
Well,
It is-
and they also do that thing that is very popular now with that sort of corner of society that's like, we got to talk about mental health, which is fine, but the way they are talking about it is like, it's just like I feel really bad, and then they're like, yeah, good, bro. Good that you're getting that out, but the conversation is just nothing. Like it's like they're not developing anything here or getting anywhere with it.
Yeah, I always forget that like, you go on a podcast app and what comes up is like the most, popular or like highly produced stuff. But it's a form that has like maybe the lowest barrier to entry to anything.
Oh,
It is so you can record something on your phone microphone and like upload that and that's free. It is.
Yeah.
Like I always mean to go like looking and do a deep dive and just like, what are the pods out there that are just like a couple of guys that has like 15 listeners that's just their friend. They're not comedians.
Yeah,
they're not they're not getting into it to try and be professional presenters. They're just like doing something for the hell of it.
Well, looking on the Spotify creators thing, there is just a button down there which is like start a new podcast.
Yeah.
And like you used to have used to have to fucking set up an RSS feed and all this shit. And it's like, nah, one button now. Give it a name and then you're up.
Those ads for equipment where it's like anyone can do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, that doesn't make
Create
me
a
feel
combo.
great.
We're just we'll put the intro in later for this. We've been recording for 8. I was going to say, because you moved studios recently.
Yeah.
Because you were at B-side for ages, or
Yeah.
and you've been clearing it out. Like, have you been finding old stuff while you're doing it and kind of going like, "Fuck, I forgot about this." Like,
Yeah, what did I find? I was really using that room as like a bit of a dumping ground. So I found a lot of stuff. What did I find? Some old photos. I found this photo actually that kills me every time I see it. It's me and my friend Pete, and we're like, I think we'd be like 13 or so, and we're at Movie World, Hollywood on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
beautiful.
And it's me and him posing with an Austin Powers impersonator and this like hot chick that's just like not even a character from the films, just like a 60s themed hot woman that was like following the Austin Powers impersonator around.
That reminds
it's
me
just
of,
so funny. These like teenagers being like, look at us hanging out with Austin Powers and this hot chick.
Well, I might have something for you. I found in an op shop a Movie World, like it's like a cinema, a film clapper.
Oh, yeah.
Photo frame.
Yes.
I don't have a photo with it.
yes.
That's what's gonna go in it.
Yeah, that's
Being 13 and being stoked to meet Austin Powers at a theme park.
and a hot girl.
And a hot girl. I remember it so vividly being like, we got to get a photo with them.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend recently and she's like, the first time I ever got horny was either one of two things. Seeing American Pie for the first time, which is
yeah.
like maybe Stifler. Second thing, Austin Powers. In Austin Powers, I was like, hang on, so when he said, do I make you horny, baby? You were like, yep.
Wow, you were responding to the screen like the fembots do when he's
Yeah.
like doing the dance in the Union Jack underpants. That's
it.
awesome.
It works.
I caught the end of American Pie in a hotel room the other week, and it kind of made me really emotional.
Yeah.
The bit at the end where they're like, you know, they're just at the diner or whatever, and they're like, guys, this is the last time we're going to do this. I was like, yeah, man, it's
This is a metaphor.
the passage of time.
I saw that with my dad.
That's sick. That's awesome. A vital part of my lore is that my dad, when Austin Powers and Goldmember came out, he wagged work and he gave me permission to cut school. And we went to like the first session of it we could possibly go
That
to,
rocks.
like 10 a.m. at the Jam Factory. And of course, that film is like all about Austin Powers' relationship to his father. His
knew.
absent father. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I love you, Dad.
Well, one of my like most vivid memories is seeing Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me, at Belgrave Cinema, packed cinema.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the whole cinema was in hysterics.
Yeah, I think I saw it like twice on the opening weekend.
Yeah,
And,
and-
same thing.
And it's like, man, like that was a time.
Yeah.
When you'd go see a movie that was like full. And everyone-
Yeah.
I have that exact thing with Anchorman. Like
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
that, and people were like dying, like couldn't breathe. How much
Oh
they
man,
were
I
laughing.
remember seeing Borat opening
Yeah,
weekend
yeah.
and that like nude chase
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
The felt like the walls were shaking. It's
Yeah.
like, again, this is such old man chat, but like, what a bummer that you don't get that
I mean-
anymore. With that, they don't really make big comedy movies anymore,
Yeah.
and no one goes to the fucking cinema.
But my thing is like I cannot go to the movies anymore. Like I go and I just get so mad about like people on their phones. I'm again like
yeah,
real
yeah.
old man shit. Like
Yeah.
why are you on your fucking phone in here? Why'd you pay for this?
Well,
I was kind of tempted to go see Minecraft just to feel something again, you know, just to be in that. I feel like being in the middle of a chicken jockey,
Yeah.
like popcorn being thrown at the screen is like the closest we could get
Yeah.
in the modern era to seeing something like an Anchorman,
Yeah.
like back in the day in a packed cinema.
Yeah, because I saw all that stuff. Like, I was like, what the fuck, chicken jockey? What the hell's going on? Like, that is real old man shit to be like, what is all this? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you're pretty tapped into online
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, is it like, you know, going to see a screening of The Room where they throw shit?
Yeah.
at the
Feels like that, but just
Yeah.
for like one bit of the film.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
doing it for any. And they started having those like meme along sessions where
Yeah.
it's like actually
Yeah.
encouraged, but it's like, but there's like only one bit of the film that people are doing that for. They're not like screaming out for any other dialogue.
A mate of ours went with his kids and he was like, he heard that this thing happened. So he was like, I was like mentally prepared through the entire movie that some group of young people were going to do this. And he was like, and then I saw them all like getting their phones up and like classic young person shit. They're like, they've got the flash on their phones in the movie theater and they're like holding the shit. And he's like, all right, I guess it's going to happen. And then one of them like ran out real quick, clearly to go get more popcorn.
Yes.
And he ran back in with all the popcorn, but they missed the bit because
Oh
of-
my God.
And so he was like, they're all just sitting there with the lights on their phones and they didn't have popcorn. And then they all just left. Like, they didn't stay for the rest of the movie. They were just like, they're out.
Oh man, I saw a thing posted online about this like mum who'd taken her kids, and it was like, everyone in there was acting like animals when this chicken jockey thing came up, and this one kid got the fire extinguisher and was letting that off, and my kid got all the like foam on him, and the cinema weren't apologetic at all. And it's just like, I love that, because it's like getting your popcorn and then being like, damn, I guess I was hungrier than I thought. I've gone through the entire box. That's like I feel like the person with the fire extinguisher is like, that they didn't want to be that guy who's like goes out to get popcorn and then misses the bit, is like looking around, could I like piss on everyone when it comes up? Or what have I got at my disposal?
There was a thing I saw, it was like an article about it, and it was saying like, basically saying like, the reason movie theaters don't give a fuck is because they're like, people are paying.
People are coming.
Buying shitloads of popcorn.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
So they don't give a fuck. They're happy for it to happen.
I kind of want to go now. I love the idea of going to a screening at like 11 a.m. on a Sunday. It's been out for like 2 months. There's me and one other guy in the cinema, and me just like get into that bit and lighting it up. Chicken jockey! It's just like one 40-year-old guy next to me.
The article, or wherever it was, said it was like the only one that a cinema got in trouble though, because a bunch of kids brought in a bunch of like roast chooks and were throwing like rotisserie chicken around.
Now we're talking.
That is good stuff.
And then the cinema was like, all right,
okay,
popcorn's fine.
Yeah.
Roast chicken, no good.
Man, I flipped on it so quickly. The first time I saw a video of it, I was like, what the hell? And then like a day later, there was that one that went super viral that was like someone brought a live chicken in, and there's those guys that are up on each other's shoulders, and I was like, God, that looks awesome to be in the middle. Like if you knew it was if you were braced for it, it looks like a lot of fun.
Back to the days of the crate walk, you know, during COVID, you know, like,
oh man.
At first you're like, what the fuck? And then you're like, let's get a bunch of crates.
Let's go. Yeah. I wonder if now you're going to start to see stuff like that being built into movies now. Yeah. What's going to be the next like really egregious?
Some Hollywood execs like, we got to find what's the next meme.
I've been watching that, The Studio with Seth Rogen, and that's like, you know, inside, like, we got to have a moment like that in a movie or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Minecraft thing is that it's like referencing like a really specific rare thing from the game, right? So like people were stoked that had gotten a run. So it's like the number of things that have lined up to kind of make that a meme are so weirdly specific that it's not like you can just go... You
can't manufacture it.
Yeah.
Because I guess like a lot of it is like fan service stuff. Like I guess it's kind of happening a bit with Last of Us at the moment. There's like, you know, this moment in the game was pivotal. How are they going to do it in the show? Kind of
throwing popcorn at my screen. When she brings out the golf club. Yes! Yes, they're doing it!
I'm hitting the screen with the golf club.
This is an Easter egg just for me. The super fan of this game.
Yeah, it seems like it's like more and more like that is happening, because like, well, the new Mission Impossible is coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is because they really revved up that fucking bike jump from the last one.
Yeah.
I'm like, but they haven't really done that with this new one.
No, they have. He's like on a plane.
Right.
He's filming himself in they've showed like a behind the scenes thing on it. It's like Tom Cruise has a camera strapped to himself.
Yeah.
And he jumps out of a plane. So like now, not only is he doing the stunts himself, he's also like...
He's the camera operator.
He's the camera operator.
God, he loves the movies. Fuck.
They're showing him writing a script.
Fuck, imagine being Tom Cruise. You're filming yourself clinging to the edge of a plane. No safety net. The huge risk
no
of
insurance.
death. The training you've got to go through. And then Serlo gets on his podcast and goes, he's not even really doing anything in this new one. Where's the crazy stunt, mate?
He's got to get me back to the cinema.
What has he got to do? What have you got to do to cut through?
I mean, the insane thing is still that he had to start his own insurance company to insure himself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they wouldn't, like, no insurance companies would insure the films, because they're like, well, if he dies, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Like the company goes under. And so he was like, well, I guess I'm starting an insurance company.
I mean, he's another great example of someone like Ben Stiller doing The Pivot, where it's like we just kind of all forget the like mental Scientology stuff and
Yeah.
him not being great in his relationships and sort of silencing people and all that stuff. And it's like, how do you make people kind of not think about that stuff anymore? Well, the answer is simple. You have to be like Homer Simpson and ride a motorbike over the Grand Canyon or whatever he's doing in these
You
films.
have to jump out of a plane and then no one remembers you're in a cult.
The idea that he's like revving up the motorbike thinking to himself, this will make him forget. Just him imagining just like the tape of him jumping on the couch on Oprah just being erased by him just like clearing. People only have so much bandwidth. If you just keep doing crazier and crazier stunt, they'll forget.
Yeah, it's like, and you forget what a psycho he actually is. Like, there's a clip of him online where a reporter squirted him with a squirt gun at the red carpet.
Yeah.
And he's like, why did you think that was funny? What did you think that was going to be funny? And it's like, oh, there's a darkness to this guy. That
Have you seen that clip? Because he's like, yeah, he's kind of lovable now. Like, there's been all this stuff of him like chopping it up with the people that are just like work in the foyer at this cinema. There's like a thing where he was just there talking to him for like 15 minutes. Have you seen the clip of him walking out to, it's like a premiere of the new Mission Impossible somewhere, and he like, so he comes out to introduce the film and he walks past a guy who's like in the front row, like in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy's sitting there with this empty box of popcorn, and Tom Cruise is like, you finished all your popcorn already? And it's like the film hasn't even started, and he's getting roasted by fucking Tom Cruise for putting away an entire large tub of popcorn before the film has even started. Devastating.
Well, a guy I know, for the premiere of the last one, he wanted to jump for Sydney, wanted to jump out of a plane and land in front of the Opera House for the premiere, and they were like, "You can't do that. You can't
fly over the Opera House.
You can't fly over the Opera House, and you definitely can't land here."
Yeah.
And so they did something else, and our friend who was like running the red, like he's just the guy who sets up the red carpet was like, "I heard it was you who said I couldn't do that." And he's like, absolutely not. I'm like so far away from that decision.
He's on a vengeance. Yeah, he wants to get revenge. That's awesome.
Because there's that, I think it's maybe Paul F. Tompkins special where he talks about being in a reading for maybe Magnolia.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like forgetting his lines, and like Tom Cruise is like, you got to hit those cues, buddy.
I wonder what he'll do now. Like, they should get him in Jackass. This is my theory, that anyone who's like kind of getting on, especially someone who's like a bit old, their last role, like get Clint Eastwood in a Jackass, get Nicholson out there. These people that it's like,
wheel them out.
They might not have long left anyway. It's like, if there's the risk of death, then just like, shoot him out of a cannon.
Hockey puck to the gonads.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One last bit.
Yeah.
Well, that Brunswick Film Festival is showing a marathon of all the Jackass films.
Really?
Like, well, this is getting me back in.
I think I'm going to go to that, actually. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I was like, that's sick.
We saw the last Jackass movie. We didn't know that we bought these tickets, but we bought.
It was the only session we could
go to. Us and our friend Luke bought
Mums and Bubs session.
Well, kind of. No, we went to this, whatever the session was, and then we got there. We're like, oh, this cinema's weird. And then we're like, oh, we're in the 4D cinema.
Oh, right.
At Northland.
So watching the Jackass movie and the seats are shaking.
And the chair, and as soon as it started, the chair's like raised up off the ground. And we were like, and anytime someone got shot out of a cannon, we were.
That actually sounds awesome.
It did.
Did it add to it?
We were like, this is way funnier because not only were we laughing at the movie, we're also laughing at like the physical surrounds.
I think we also took gummies before.
That's good.
It checks out.
So it's not like when, a film is in 3D and you get the goggles and it's been, designed for that. So does someone who works at the Northland Cinema, have they had to like program all of that shit? That's like, the film isn't coming with like a list of instructions of like, someone's had to sit there and watch it and be like, this would be a really good, this bit here, this is when the seat should be shaking at its absolute maximum.
And it's surely just like someone at Hoyt's, like at the head office, watching going,
what a job. Tough day at the office. I got an early screener of Jackass 4 and I had to
I got to program the seat wobbling.
I have to like work out how much wobbling each scene deserves to have.
You can also set it yourself as well. You can turn it up and down based on. There's no off, but you can go like.
Yeah, the off is just going to any other screening. Do they have like, does every film end up getting the 4D cinema?
I don't know. It was very funny though. And there was a guy sitting at a couple seats down from us who'd got, this is another thing movie theaters lately of like, they sell pizzas at movie theaters now. And there was a guy sitting there and he had like a full pizza on his lap with the chair wobbling, and he's like trying to maneuver eating a
Slopping marinara sauce all over himself. I do love the conceit that the fourth dimension is a chair moving. It's like, no, that's still, I think that's still in the realm of third.
Yeah.
I think that's still 3.
I mean,
I don't know that that's crossed over into a new one that, yeah.
It already has the fourth dimension of time.
Yeah, what is the fourth dimension? It's like,
I think they say it is time, or it would be so inconceivable to us.
So yeah, every
It's that
film is
scene
4D.
from Interstellar where he's fucking falling through the thing.
Yeah, that scene in Interstellar where he's strapped in this chair and it's just kind of slowly rocking around, and then a guy comes out and shoots him with a water pistol. He's like, "Oh Christ, it's all happening."
I think for me, like, I mean, I haven't been to the cinemas for ages, but our thing towards the end was going early in the morning.
Yeah.
Because there was no one there.
Yeah.
And that was like...
That's still the best time, I feel.
Still the best time. But I think you had an experience of going to Northland trying to see the Batman.
I just left straight up. Like, it was unbearable. Like,
What do you mean?
There's kids...
Kids were just actually like filming the movie.
Oh yeah.
With, again, like full flash on and like doing bits to each other. And I was like,
Save it for the pod, boys.
as a society, where are we? Like, no,
Yeah.
but I'm.
That's so ironic that that's your Joker moment.
Oh, dude, honestly, I was
Batman
like,
and hating it.
I am confident enough in myself that I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, obviously scared them, but then they just started doing it again. And some other guy a bit further down then, because I yelled, got the confidence to also yell. And then he went and got someone from the movie theater. And then they, like at Northland, they went and person came in, booted him out. And then I was like, all right, that's fine. I can deal with it now. And then like 10 minutes later, these kids came back in and got straight back in the same seats. And I was like, that's enough. Went out. Got a full refund, but because I bought the popcorn and the drink on the app, I got the refund for everything I consumed.
Oh,
So-
yes.
Nice.
Yes, everyone listening. That's a
the
little
hack.
scam that you can pull yourself. Yeah, I've been lucky. I haven't really had any like too bad. I haven't really had anything that's like turned me off going to the cinema.
Yeah.
But I reckon the trick is you go to a shopping center and it's like all bets are off.
Yeah.
Like I'm only ever really, like I live near the Nova.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm either going there or FOMO. So I'm really curating a pretty condensed small experience. If you go to like the Hoyts in the city, it's like
Yeah, we've only
anyone could be here.
been going to the prison.
Oh, yeah.
The Pentridge.
I mean, that's a great cinema.
Yeah.
I've not been.
It's brand new.
Yeah.
And again, like
USB chargers in the seats.
Really?
Yeah.
God damn.
Suck up a charge
But I
while you're
think
there.
because it's a palace as well, it's like only old people are in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're not getting kids.
Yeah, there was something on recently that I wanted to see that, what was it? It was something that the Nova had just, they will show most stuff now.
Yes.
Oh, Sinners. Sinners
Yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't have on. And I think they had just seen like, get out of here, the guy from Creed and the director of Creed and the fucking Black Panther movies, we're above this. But it's like, you've made a bad call here, boys. It actually has
Yeah.
quite a lot to say.
That is a bizarre
And
choice.
it's like a huge movie too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, in like critically is very well received.
Yeah.
So you would think like some of that stuff they'll go, oh, we'll have.
I wonder if they've flipped. I know the week it came out, it wasn't on there because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to go somewhere else. God damn it.
Surely they're flipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going there a fair bit, but I haven't really been. I guess because of just comedy fests and stuff like that. But I've never had that experience. Like you get it a bit at comedy shows, people coming in and just being like, whatever, like because they don't know the etiquette.
Oh,
Didn't
man.
you have a crew the other week that were just chatting the whole time? Like not heckling, just literally having a conversation.
Yeah, during my run, I had like one of the quietest shows was just like, crew just chatting during the show, vaping.
It's pretty, I mean, again, this is such old man stuff and people have been saying this for a while, but I feel like you really are seeing it now of like,
Yeah.
this was the big thing that people kind of felt after COVID. I didn't find it that bad after COVID, but I do think it's getting worse. Is like people just don't know how to act out in public.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I would put in my festival run, I did this thing that's pretty common where like, say I had sold enough, but like not up to like the back row of seats. You'd like turn a chair around so that like you block that row off
Yeah.
so that everyone's just got to sit
Bit
in
closer
the,
in,
don't be up the back. And I would be backstage and I would hear people just like picking up the chairs and fucking moving them around. It's like, what are you doing? This isn't your lounge room. Like, obviously I've done that. It would drive me insane. Those like metal chairs at the Coopers, just hearing them like clanking around as people are just like configuring the room to how they want it. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I wish I had the confidence.
Exactly.
Roll
Yeah.
into a place
I was
and
like,
go-
is this an option when you go somewhere? You just like drag a table around and like bring your own seat from home. And yeah.
Yeah, I've had that a bit with Catfish. Like people come in and like they do have food there, so a lot of people come in and go like, oh, you know, well, there's no table and can we sit up here? I'm like, oh, that's for the comics, and they're like, oh, what about this? I'm like, you can't fucking sit there and just eat it. Like,
It's crazy. I think people feel like, hey, everyone's saying, you know, we got to go out more, and you know, if you want me to leave my lounge room, you got to make a few concessions for me.
You have
got
to
let
make
me kind
my
of
lounge
treat this.
room there.
Yeah. You got to let me curate the space exactly how I want it, because otherwise, hey, there's somewhere where I can do whatever I want, and it's called being at home.
Yeah.
And guess what, cunt? It's free.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Well, you've got me over a barrel here. Do whatever you want.
my art isn't enough.
I mean,
Pour
that
my
was,
soul out up here.
that was the thing that was my big turn during COVID not during, I guess right after, when going to the movies became so challenging for me. I was like, fuck it, I'm buying all the Sonos shit. I just bought the full kit so that I could make my house the cinema.
That's actually a good point. That's a good concession in your head of like,
Yeah.
this is all expensive. But if I never set foot in a cinema ever again, over my lifetime, what I'm saving on cinema tickets kind of equals the cost of this subwoofer and fucking 75-inch OLED 4K.
A friend of mine is like, we walked past this cinema near me, and he's like, you can just walk in here. He's like, I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I've seen over $400 worth of movies for free.
Keeping the tab, that's so good.
Yeah, he's
Doing
like,
the-
Yeah, there's so many, like the Westgarth cinema.
it was that cinema.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. There's like there'll be like one person working behind the counter selling popcorn, but then you don't see a single other soul in that place. I always think that of like, yeah, you can just work. It's not like you're going to be in the session and it'd be full and get ratted because you're like in someone's seat.
Yeah.
Just
No.
walk up the stairs, cinema one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a weird. I mean, I guess they're really going with the honor system. down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember, did you ever, when you were younger, I remember once seeing a movie and then the whole time, like we went in, we bought a ticket to one movie with the intention of sneaking into another session afterwards, because you would have like the person that checked your tickets was like at the front of like where all the cinemas are.
Yeah.
So once you've cleared that barrier, once you're in, then
You can stay there all day.
Then you're in. Yeah. And I remember like sitting there and being like, not even really paying attention to what we were watching, just being like so excited to be like, how good's it going to be after this when we're watching another movie? But that one will be for free. This one we paid for. That one we're going to be getting like sneakily for free.
Well, I remember our big one was going in, I can't remember what it was, seeing something that was rated R back when they would actually check to see how old you were. And so we just bought a ticket to something else that was on at the same time, walked past, and then just walked into the
Man,
R-rated one.
We would do that, but we would yeah, your way makes so much more sense. We would try and find some older people to buy the tickets for us. So then you're involved. Like, so I remember we did it for a couple of films. We did it for like Me, Myself, and Irene, and maybe like the South Park movie, I think. And then me and my friend did it. And we thought like, oh, this is the ultimate life hack. Like we're telling everyone at school, like, it's just this easy, guys. And so we did it for Scream 3. And I think like the person selling the tickets was like a little sus on like, who are these? It was like, oh, this is my cousin.
Yeah.
And then we go in. So it's like me and my friend and this like random older couple who we got to buy the tickets for us. And we immediately just sit in different ends of the cinema. And like 5 minutes into the movie, this guy comes in with a flashlight and he's like, why aren't you sitting with your cousin? And we're like, oh, we don't know. And they're like, get out. They kicked us out. Like the person at the counter had sat there for like 20 minutes and gone, something's not adding up about this. Something doesn't feel right here.
They didn't look the same.
I'm going to go, I'm like, man, quiet afternoon at the ticket booth if you're like bothering to go and investigate.
I
Like,
gotta figure this out.
you would think working at a cinema, you'd be like, let these kids
Who
see
gives a
Scream
fuck?
3.
Yeah.
Come on. I love the movies.
Well, I remember wagging school one day, and I, like, early days of using Photoshop, had photoshopped my birth certificate with an older date, printed it out, and then gone down to the cinema in Croydon to see the movie Hannibal by myself.
Yeah, the solo.
And like
Wow.
whipped out my birth certificate. They did not give a fuck.
That is awesome. The birth certificate. My
Yeah.
God. I imagine you can't use the birth certificate for much on a day-to-day ID level. But really, it's like, it should be the ultimate one.
Yeah.
It's proof of your existence.
And just the idea that like I thought that would work. Like, and I mean it didn't, but it did.
It sort of did. Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta have the thing to fall back on. Were you like, did you want to, because I remember Hannibal coming out, did you want to see Hannibal because you'd loved Silence of the Lambs, or was it just because I don't know if it still is the case, but it was like so rare for something to come out and be like an R18. Like it felt like you'd get one of them every 2 years where you would be like, man, some sick shit must be happening in this film.
Yeah. I think just the idea, and I think maybe it was just the only thing on at that time, or just like the fact that I could do it.
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah.
that I could
The perfect crime.
I mean, I guess it's just purely the eating brain thing in that, right?
just violent, and I guess maybe like
It's got to be cutting the top of his head off.
and eating his brain.
Yeah, where they're eating his brain and he's talking.
I had never seen it until like a year ago, and I was like, man, I love this. This rocks.
Yeah.
Just like,
Is that your phone ringing?
yeah, my phone ringing. That's the first time that's ever happened on the pod.
he's like, what is he? Because he's got the guy's head off, like the top of the head, and the guy's still alive.
Is it
and he's
Ray
just
Liotta?
like,
It's Ray Liotta.
oh yeah, and he's just like slowly carving bits of the brain off,
And he's eating his
gradually
own
getting a
brain.
bit dumber as he's
Yeah,
eating
and
it.
he's feeding him his own brain.
That's right.
Yeah.
That rules.
Yeah, that's how that works. Just getting dumber.
Yeah.
Don't just instantly die.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, the science fell off on Hannibal.
Yeah, that almost shouldn't be R-rated if it's like that cartoonish. It's
Yeah.
like, how can this be scary when it's based in basically zero reality?
Yeah, and I mean, because I'm not a big horror movie fan, or wasn't for a long time. I really did not like them, and I guess it's not really. It's more of a crime psychological thing, but yeah, I hated seeing horror movies. I remember being in the States once, buying a ticket to see the movie Zombieland, which I'd already seen, but was going with another friend of mine.
What a great use of a trip.
Yeah.
Seeing a movie that you've already seen.
In a different country.
The city that never sleeps. You can see Zombieland at any hour of the day.
Well, we go in there. We're sitting there for ages. It doesn't start for ages, and then one of the Saw movies just starts. And I guess I didn't know this happened. Maybe it happens more in the States. Like they don't sell enough tickets to a movie. They just show a different one.
What?
Yeah, and like we checked, we're in the wrong cinema, or maybe it was like an admin error or something.
Yeah.
And so we just sat there and watched. Like we were so hungover. I'm like, I don't want to watch one of the fucking Saw movies. I wanted to watch this romp.
Have you investigated this any further? I can't believe that that's a thing where they're like, not enough people bought a ticket to Zombieland. I guess we'll just show them Saw 1 instead. That can't be a thing.
Classic
That can't
movie,
be protocol.
It must have been a fuck up. Like, it must have
Yeah,
been
it has to. There's no
program.
way. There's no way that it's like not enough people bought a ticket to this, so we'll just show them something else randomly.
Yeah, you know how that happens. Like, enough people bought this. You can
I wish it did. I wish it was always Saw 1 that they're just like. So you're involved in like basically a Kickstarter campaign.
Put
If
the
you
word
wanna-
out.
Yeah. If you want to see the new Wes Anderson, you're like, I need there to be at least 7 people in the cinema. Otherwise, they chuck on Saw 1. You're like watching people come in. You're on the like the website, like looking at the map, being like, now there's 6 sold. The session's in 4 hours time. I reckon we'll hit that. I reckon this is a safe bet. We'll hit that threshold by the time the movie starts.
And if we're really selling well, we'll show Austin Powers the Spy Shag Me.
yeah, then if there's too many people, if the cinema's full, then they're like,
They gotta see Austin.
well, this is a great environment to watch a comedy in. We can't waste this on just some dour period drama.
Yeah, maybe that's the way it should work, like with comedy as well. It's like, we don't sell enough tickets, this open micer is coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, or if there's like at a gig where there's not enough people in the audience, it's like, guys, just keep it. We'll just do the show, but mate, just do 3 minutes. We'll have no break. So they just, if there's not enough tickets sold, they just play the movie at double speed. Come on, guys, this is going to be
gotta
awkward.
power through this.
We'll get through it. We don't want to call the thing off, but like we'll get you out of here nice and quick. We'll wrap this up in about 45 minutes.
Oh man, I have been. Was listening back to my show at double speed on the way in.
yeah.
And I was like, I really could make it a bit tighter.
Yeah, that's what's killing me at the moment about doing the reels and stuff is that like you have to, you get them down to like a minute and a half and you have a bit that's like, I don't know, 4 minutes and you're like, oh, well, I simply could not possibly turn this into a reel.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being actually quite easy. And you're like, God damn, if I just did this version of it live, how much better could the bit have been?
Well, that was like, I remember there's a gig in Sydney that was doing reels for people for a while. And like, I guess they were kind of really following the trends of what reels for comedy look like.
Yeah.
And I scrolled back and it was like this bit of mine that's just cut within an inch of its life.
Yeah.
And then like little pictures showing up like in the bits.
Yeah, I love that. I love that thing of like, so I was eating a Freddo frog, a big picture of Freddo. It's like, no, we get it. Like it's, I don't know.
Yeah, we're really dumbing this down.
Yeah, we're really...
Well, isn't a lot of that because the algo on it is like you have to put stuff on because people will be scrolling on mute.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so that you get like, oh, Freddo.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
gotta hear
understand
about
that
Freddo.
with like subtitles, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I've seen so many bits of stand-up come up where I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to bother to unmute the phone. I got the text right here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read
I can
this
read
bit
the joke.
and then going, yeah, great routine.
Yeah. I know what this person's voice sounds like.
And then I get to watch it again with the sound on and get a whole new appreciation
Yeah.
for the bit. See how much the delivery brings to it.
Well, that's like when someone like you do a bit as a tweet or something and you're like, pretty good. But what if I did it with words? Speaking.
What if I said it?
Yeah. What if I use Walton Goggins AI?
Yeah. I want to get him doing everything for me. My friend, my personal friend.
Personal friend. Yeah, I think I would like. I wonder what celebrity would get me, like that I would be scammed by. Dimebag Darrell for you, back from the
Probably.
dead.
From the dead.
If we reanimate the guitar player from Pantera, yes, I'm all in. I feel like they have to be kind of because Walton Goggins, while he is having a moment, he's not like the most famous person on earth.
This also too is like this was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So this is
well before the moment.
pre like White Lotus being out. So like, I mean, I was into the Shield back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm a real, so I'm the
Goggins head.
perfect guy.
Yeah.
Now I think it would be too unbelievable that he would be like
Yeah.
hot off SNL and then emailing you. But the 1% of me at the time was able to be like, yeah, this kind of tracks.
be
He's
it.
got some appreciation for the fact that I've been rocking with him since the Shield. Vice Principals. Like I was stoked when he was showing up in Tarantino stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he really had that arc for me of like the background, like, oh, that guy's in it.
Yeah.
And knew who he was, and now he's like an actual famous person.
Yeah, the guy who makes everything he's in just like 10% better. Like undeniably, if he's in it, it's like, fuck, we're on here.
He's so good in Vice Principals.
Yeah.
That show is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man.
Well, we're almost out of time.
Oh, man.
Tommy, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me, boys.
What do you got coming up for yourself?
Oh, that's such a good question. I've got a podcast. I've got two, actually.
We meant to ask you about it.
Yeah, we just talked about
Too busy
movies.
gasbagging about the movies. I've got this podcast called How to Do Everything, where I have people on and learn how to do stuff from them. And I've also got one called Filthy Casuals, which is me and Ben Vanel talking about video games every week.
You went to the Switch premiere the
I
other day.
did.
How was it?
The premiere. I guess it was the premiere, yeah. It was great.
Yeah, is it sick? Because I have an old one and I think I want the new one.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I love Nintendo.
Yeah.
I'm very biased. And a lot of my life at the moment is, for some reason, well, not for some reason, they just are. If you do a video games podcast, you have to talk about Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they are a company that there are some people out there that really fucking hate them and hate that you would talk about them. And even just being like, hey, we went hands-on with this and it's really cool and we're really looking forward to it. And then, of course, the Spotify episode comments page. Oh, I couldn't hear a thing you guys were saying because you had Nintendo's cock down your throat. And it's like, I don't know, I'm just excited to play Mario Kart. I don't think I'm alone. Like, I think there's a lot of people out there that are also excited for this thing. Some people just hate them. It's crazy.
What is it? Because it's too like kid friendly, or is it too like
I think it just is
sanitized or something?
I think it's just kind of like some people who play video games have like a weird kind of 90s like battle lines drawn up in their head about like they're like, you know, they love their PlayStation.
Ford
and I
v-
love PlayStation
Ford
too.
v Holden.
Yeah, it's a bit, and Nintendo are kind of the only ones that still just do stuff in their own ecosystem. Like they
Yeah.
never put their games on other consoles,
Yeah.
which kind of all the other companies do. And I think that annoys people. Like there probably is an element of like, that would be fun, but I don't want to have to buy a whole new thing to
Yeah.
engage with it. People just kind of hate it from afar. And it's like, it's fun to not engage with it, but it's like, yeah, I mean, we do a video games podcast. This new console's about to launch. Like we can't not talk about it.
Yeah.
Like our hands-on thing was like, there were so many comments on there being like, oh, great, more shilling for Nintendo. I'm like, I'd love to be a shill for them. I'd love to be on the fucking payroll.
Yeah. I want Nintendo, please.
Yeah, please give me more free stuff. But yeah, people can check that out if they like video games.
Dope.
Yeah.
Just shitload of shows. Don't know when this is coming up, but yeah, I exist playing shows, Extortion playing shows, Aglo playing shows. Just go to our Instagrams. That's the best place to see it.
Dope.
What about you?
Brisbane, July 24th. Doing my
yeah.
solo up there before Cold Day. See us both there.
At Good Chat.
At Good Chat on the
Nice.
Thursday, and then we'll be hanging there for the weekend. There's this, little festival on called
Cold Day in Brisbane.
big festival now, I guess.
Yeah.
Cold Day in Brisbane. Some guys put that on.
Hell yeah.
Love going to Brisbane. It's fucking dope up there. Good Chat's dope. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thanks again, mate.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.